Hi, welcome to today's yoga class. Today is going to be part 3 of fixing upper back, neck, and shoulders. So if you haven't visited the first 2 videos, they are already up on my site. First one, help to manage pain. Second one, to find mobility. And this third one today to help build strength. So today for our session, all we're going to need is our mat. So once you roll that out, we'll get started. So today we will actually be starting in our child's pose. So if you'd like to come onto your hands and your knees, you can bring your toes together behind you and gently send your hips all the way back with your knees nice and wide. And then you can start to reach your arms out in front of you as you relax your forehead down. And just starting with a couple of deep breaths to help slow everything down. And even here at the start, you have a couple of options. You can be nice and soft through your elbows to being a little bit more relaxed in your stance. Or if you'd like to be a little bit more active, you can actually come up onto your fingertips, lifting your palms up off the mat and reaching those arms forward and making the elbows coming off the mat. So you find a little bit more of a stretch. But wherever you are, take a couple more breaths. Just noticing where we might be feeling this. And just allowing your breath to slow everything down and setting the pace for your practice today. Good. As you finish up that exhale, on your next inhale, gently pick up your forehead. Come up onto your fingertips if you're not there already, and then walk your hands over towards the right side of the mat. The right hand's not going to matter all too much. It's going to be focusing on that left side as that left arm reaches away from the rest of the body. Relax that forehead down. If you'd like to create some more space, you can bring that right arm out to the side and it could just relax as you focus on lengthening that left side body. Good. We'll take 2 more breaths here. As you keep working to pull that left hip back. 1 more. And then slowly bring that right hand all the way back to center to meet left. And then walk your hands back to center. And then keep going all the way over towards the left side. Again, as you move to the left, your right hand is going to be the focus. So really reach that away from the rest of the body as you take that left arm and bring it out to the side nice and relaxed. Resting your forehead down, taking a couple of deep breaths as you expand into that right side body. And as you finish up that exhale, take that left hand and bring it all the way back towards the front to meet the right. And then walk your hands all the way back to center in your traditional Balasana or child's pose. We'll take 1 more inhale and exhale here. And then we'll take our time to slowly roll ourselves up to our hands and our knees. So make sure your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders. If you are a little bit more tight through your traps, bring your hands a little bit wider and turn your fingers out to the sides. Knees are still stacked underneath your hips as you find your cat-cow. So on your next inhale, drop the belly as you lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, push the earth away as you round the spine. Take your time moving back and forth between these two. Moving through your Chakravakasana. And just allowing you to move at the pace of your own breath. Yeah, let's see if you can find 2 more rounds. And then find a nice neutral spine as you finish off that final cat. And we're going to find a little bit of balance and strength in our shoulders today. So we're going to take that right hand and bring it out in front of us and bring it towards the top right of the mat. You're going to take your left foot and bring it out behind you. So it's opposite hand, opposite leg. And then on your next inhale, we're going to reach that arm and leg up nice and high. And then as you exhale, elbow to knee, rounding the spine, pushing into your left hand. Inhale again, extend, arm and leg, really pushing back into that heel. And then exhale again, elbow to knee. So this Chakravakasana variation is going to help you find a little bit of core strength. Help you find opening through your leg as well as your shoulder. Again, we'll do that one more time as you extend. And then exhale again, elbow to knee. Good. Inhale, extend everything out one final time. Before you exhale, and bring that hand down as well as the left leg down towards the mat. Good. We'll move on to the other side. This time you're going to take your left fingertips forward, right toes back, and then on your next inhale, lift, find balance. And then exhale, elbow to knee. Rounding the spine, pushing into that right hand. Inhale again, extend. Exhale again, elbow to knee. Good. Do that a couple more times at your own pace. And then find one more. Nice and strong. Keeping the neck nice and long throughout. Good. Inhale, extend. And then exhale, drop that hand and that knee back down towards the ground. Good. We'll reset by doing one more cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale again as you push and round. Good. And then come back into a nice neutral spine. Good. We'll walk our hands forward. And then we'll walk our feet back, finding our first plank. And if this feels too intense today, you can always modify and do the same exercise on your knees. But on your next inhale, think about pushing the earth away, separating the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, keeping the arms still straight, just drop your chest, bringing the shoulder blades back together for some scapular push-ups. Good. Inhale again, separate the shoulder blades, push the earth away. And then exhale, heart dips down, shoulder blades come together behind you. Good. One more time. Inhale, push up. Again, you can always do this without knees. Exhale again. Just dropping your chest. Good. Inhale, push the earth away. And then this time, exhale, lower all the way down onto your mat. Good. We'll rest one hand on top of that. One hand on top of the other. As you rest your forehead, you can bend both knees and just take your feet side to side to give yourself a little break. Yeah, but this one's going to be a little bit of a combination of shoulder strength as well as low back strength. So gently lower your feet back down onto your mat when you're ready. And then you're going to bring your arms out in front of you. Take a nice big inhale. Take everything up off the mat. Inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, take the arms all the way back behind you for airplane wings. Inhale again. Bring the arms forward. Try to keep the chest lifted. And then on the exhale, lower back down towards the earth. Good. Inhale again, squeeze and lift. Exhale, take the arms behind, airplane wings. Inhale again, bring the arms back towards the front, lift. And then exhale again as you lower. Good. One more time. Inhale, squeeze and lift. Exhale, take the arms all the way back. Good. Inhale again, bring the arms forward. And then exhale again as you release. Good. Slide your hands back towards your rib cage so you can roll the elbows and shoulders back. Gently lift yourself all the way back up to your knees and find Balasana as a counter one more time. So back into your child's pose. Really good. Take one more inhale and exhale here. Good. And then slowly come back up to your plank. You can transition from hands to knees to your plank, and then send your hips all the way up and back into your first downward facing dog. Good. So think about shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, gently rotating the biceps forward, and then grounding the heels as you lift the hips nice and high. And you can start pedaling the feet left and right just to help open up the back of the legs. Think nice and long through the neck, so drop your head completely. Or if you'd like to extend it a little bit more, maybe look up towards your belly button. Good. And then take your time to slowly walk the hands back to meet your feet. Good. Once we arrive in the back of the mat, we're just going to find a nice big forward fold. So grab opposite elbows, give yourself that option to swing and sway. And if you're really tight through your hamstrings, bend the knees a lot to give your low back a little bit more space. And then take your time to slowly release the hands and then bend through the knees even more so you can gently roll yourself all the way up to standing. Good. Once you arrive in standing, you're going to walk your feet up just a little bit, finding yourself in the back 1/3 of the mat. Bring your hands down to your side. Keep your chest nice and open. Find yourself in Tadasana. Feet are nice and firm, planted onto the mat. And you can bring your toes together, or you can keep your feet hip distance apart. On your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up towards the sky, but really reach back, extending through the arms completely, maybe looking up towards the hands. And then exhale, release the hands, chin to chest. Good. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms high, look up. And then exhale again, arms down, chin to chest. Good. Inhale here, arms all the way up, look up one final time. And then this time, exhale, followed by a big forward fold. Bring your hands to your shins, lift up the chest, find that nice big halfway lift. And then as you exhale, walk your hands back towards the front of the mat. Find that plank. And then lower down halfway, elbows pointing straight back. Roll over the toes as you lift your chest for either upward facing dog or cobra. Make sure your shoulders are pulled back. And then take a nice big exhale as you send the hips all the way back into your downward facing dog. Yeah, take another big breath in. Followed by a big breath out. And then on your next inhale, lift that right leg up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, bring that knee towards your chest and then shift the weight forward into your hands, but keep looking forward nice and long through the neck. Try to bring that knee as high up into your chest as you can. Good. Inhale again, hinge back, lift the leg back up towards the sky. And then exhale again, knee to chest as you shift the weight forward. Good. We'll do that one last time. Think nice and slow. Inhale, spine strength. And then exhale again, knee to your nose. Knee to your chest. Good. Once you find that, you're going to plant that right foot down onto your mat. Back foot is going to pivot, and then you're going to lift yourself all the way up to Virabhadrasana, Warrior One. Good. In your Warrior One, and if you've taken my classes before, it's a movement that you might be familiar with, but you're going to find a nice big inhale as you lift arms up nice and high, open through your chest, nice big bend into that front knee. And then as you exhale, you're going to straighten out the legs and then bring the arms in front of you. On your next inhale, we're going to open up the arms out nice and wide to the sides, taking a nice big bend back into that knee. And then as you exhale, bring your arms to close in front, straightening the leg once more. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your hands to your chest, keeping your fingertips touching, elbows nice and high, still bending into that knee, lifting through your chest. And then as you exhale, straighten out the legs, and then release the arms all the way back down towards your mat. Good. We'll find that sequence one more time. Inhale, Warrior One, bend into that knee. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms come forward. Inhale, open up the arms out nice and wide, bend into that knee once more. And then exhale again, straighten the leg as you bring the arms to close in front. You're going to take your hands to your chest, keep the elbows high, open through your chest there. Bring your shoulder blades back together. And then exhale again as you release the arms and straighten out that front leg. Good. We'll do that one final time. Inhale, Warrior One, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, arms forward, straight leg. Inhale, open up nice and wide. Take that bend into that knee. And then exhale again, bring the hands to close, straighten the leg. One final time, bring your palms to your chest, keep the elbows nice and high. Bend into that knee once more. And then exhale again as you release the arms. Good. We're going to circle the arms as you open them up into a nice big Warrior Two, so Virabhadrasana 2. So this time that right knee is really opening out to the right side. And then we're just going to find a gentle opening through the arms. So on your next inhale, flip that right hand over. Find a gentle reverse without using the support of that left arm. So sweep that arm towards that front knee underneath. And then the other way, right hand is going to pivot down as that left arm reaches up and over for an unassisted side angle. Good. Inhale again. Find that reverse. Like you're making big circles through the arms. Exhale again. Right arm down, left arm up and over. Good. One last time. Inhale, reverse. And then exhale again. Right arm down, left arm up overhead. Good. Inhale again, circle the arms all the way back open into a strong warrior two. And then exhale, both hands back down towards the earth. Good. You're going to take that back foot and you'll pivot it to the outside of that foot, coming onto that left hand. If you'd like to take a side twist here, you can do it here. If you'd like to move on to make it a little bit more stronger or to be a little bit more challenging, you can take your right foot, stack it over that left one, finding our side plank. Good. So we're really pushing down into that arm, pushing that shoulder away from the mat, reaching that right arm nice and high, breathing nice and big. Good. The modified version would be with the left knee down. So you can be right here if you need to start there. Really good. 2 more breaths. Nice and strong. 1 more. Beautiful. Take that right hand all the way back down towards the earth and then lower down halfway. Inhale, find that upward facing. And then again into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a nice big breath in. Big exhale, open mouth as you let it go. 1 more. Inhale through the nose. Big exhale, open mouth as you let it go. Good. Inhale again. Reach that left leg high, keeping the hips nice and square. And then exhale again. Bring that knee to your chest, anchoring that knee up as high into your chest as you can. And then inhale again as you extend it up. 2 more times. Exhale, knee to chest. Beautiful. 1 more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to chest. Good. Can you take that and step that foot forward to meet the hands? And then take that back foot as it pivots down 45 degrees. And then you come on back up to your Virabhadrasana 1, this time on the left. So we're going to keep pivoting that right hip forward, that left hip back, really pushing out into that knife edge of that back foot, bending deeply into that front knee. Take a nice big inhale, reach both arms high. And then exhale, bring the arms forward, straighten out that front leg. Inhale, open up the arms out nice and wide, bend back into that knee. And then exhale again, bring the hands to close as you straighten out the leg. Bring the palms to your chest, you keep your elbows up, lifting up high. And then as you exhale, straighten out the leg as you release the arms. Good, we're doing that 2 more times. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, arms forward. Inhale, arms wide. Bend back into that knee. And then exhale again, arms forward again, straight leg. Hands to chest 1 more time as you bend into that knee. And then exhale, release the hands, straighten the legs. Good, 1 last time. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, arms forward, straight leg. Inhale, open the hands out nice and wide, shoulder blades together. And then exhale, hands close, straighten the front leg. Palms to your chest, elbows high, shoulder blades together, bend into that knee. And then final time, exhale, release. Beautiful. Inhale, swing that right arm up and over to circle it open into a big warrior 2. That back foot is going to widen the stance a little bit as it points out to the side to help open up the hips in opposite directions. Hands are slightly above the shoulders, extending nice and strong. Take 1 more inhale and exhale here. And then we'll find those big sweeps and opens and closes. So we're going to take that left palm reverse. So find that reverse warrior. Swing that right arm all the way down towards the front knee. And then exhale. Swing the arms in reverse as you tilt over towards the left leg. Good. Inhale again. Reverse. Exhale again. The opposite way. Good. Inhale again, reverse. And then exhale again as you bring it back to the front. And then 1 final time as you open back up, warrior 2. And then exhale, come out of that leg, pivot those left toes in. Yeah, you're going to take your hands behind the back, pull the knuckles down towards the ground as you lace the fingers. Inhale, lift through your chest. And then exhale, take the arms all the way up overhead as you find a wide-legged forward fold. Prasarita Padottanasana. You have the option to bend into your knees if you need. Soften through your jaw, through your neck. 2 more breaths. Really good. Last one. Go ahead, bend into your knees a lot. Use that to help scoop the torso all the way up to stand. Inhale, release the arms all the way out to the sides. And then you're going to pivot those left toes to come back out towards the front of the mat. Good. You're going to cycle both of your hands all the way down onto your mat. Pivot that back foot. And then you're going to take that back foot and let it fall over towards the outside, so towards the right side of the foot. You can hold that left arm high, and you could be right here. Or if you'd like to take it a little bit harder, you can take that left foot, slide it all the way back towards the back of the mat, setting it on top of the right one. Or you could even bring it out in front for a little bit more stability. If you need a little bit more help here, you can also bring that right knee down and just keep lifting through your hips as you reach that arm high. But if you can, see if you can do what feels best for your body, finding the edge of your practice, meaning where you feel like you're working really hard, but you're still able to breathe. And allow yourself to hold this for 2 more breaths. Really good. 1 more. Good. Inhale here. Before you plant that left hand all the way back down towards the mat, coming back to your plank. Beautiful. Last Chaturanga Dandasana as you lower down halfway, elbows back. Roll over the toes as you push down into the arms. You lift through your chest, shoulders back. And then exhale, send the hips all the way up and back into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take 1 more big inhale here. And a big exhale. Inhale, look forward towards the front of the mat. Exhale, slowly walk your feet forward to find a seat. Good. That's a pretty hard move, so know that you can transition onto your seat however you can get there from your downward facing dog. But once you arrive, you can roll out your wrists a little bit because we have been on them quite a lot today. You could also do a couple of figure 8s, lacing the palms and just rolling things out. And then just giving your hands a nice big shake. Yeah, from here, we're going to extend our feet out in front of us, bringing our hands to our shins or our knees or wherever we can, and then take a nice big inhale here as we slowly work towards a forward fold. Paschimottanasana. So wherever your hands can grab, your hands can land. And then think about pulling your hip bones back and flattening out the lower back, thinking belly to thigh as you hinge forward. Good. 1 more inhale and exhale here. And then take your time to slowly roll yourself back up to your seat. Good. To counter that forward fold, we're going to just do a reverse plank or a reverse tabletop. So if you're have any sensitivity in your rotator cuffs, have your fingertips facing out towards the sides. If you're okay with your rotators, then you can bring your fingers towards your bum. But wherever you are, you're going to bring your feet onto your mat, gently lift the hips as you throw the head all the way back, and then exhale, lower. And you're going to do that 2 more times at your own pace in whatever position that feels good for you. So inhale, lift. You have the option of also extending the legs if you'd like. Good. And then 1 last one. Inhale. And exhale, lower. Beautiful. You're going to take your feet all the way down to the edge of your mat. Reach the arms forward. Take a nice big inhale here. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. And once you arrive, you're going to bend your knees, bringing your feet onto the mat. Feet are hip distance apart, and knees are going to keep pointing straight towards your toes rather than opening out to the sides when we lift the hips. Our arms are going to join the party for the sake of the shoulder focus here. So on your next inhale, lift through your hips as you come into your bridge and take the arms all the way up overhead. And then as you exhale, keep the hips there, just the arms come down. Inhale, take the arms all the way back up overhead. And then as you exhale, lower the hips and arms at the same time. Beautiful. We'll do that 2 more times. Scoot on down. Inhale again, lift the hips. Arms up overhead. And then exhale, just the arms down. Inhale again, take the arms all the way back up. And then exhale, hips and arms have come back down at the same time. Beautiful. One last time. Inhale, hips up, arms up overhead. Exhale, just the arms down. Inhale again, arms up overhead. And then exhale, hips down, arms down. Good. Slowly bring your knees into your chest. Good. And give yourself that gentle rock. Good. And we can slowly make our way towards our stillness. So if you'd like to add a little bit of a hip opener, since we didn't touch on hips very much today, you can find yourself in a Baddha Konasana. And if that's not really for you, you can just extend the legs in your traditional Shavasana. And as we start to release our breath, letting go of any tension that might still exist, knowing that so many of us carry our stress up in our necks and our shoulders that causes headaches, among other things. Giving us the opportunity to find ourselves opening up into those spaces a little bit more, taking care. And knowing just that we don't have to be on all the time. Giving us ourselves the permission to take a break. So as we remind ourselves that rest doesn't need to be earned, that you're doing the best you can with what you have, with where you're at. That you wake up and show up every single day to the things that are important to you. Knowing that that sometimes is enough. Just slowly start to settle, softening our bodies as well as our breath. So we take this short opportunity just to let go and just to be. As we take one last moment in stillness, maybe inviting a full breath in, taking a pause at the top, followed by a big exhale out. Take your time to gently wiggle through your fingers and your toes. If you're in the reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana, use your hands to gently help close up the knees. Take your feet nice and wide and take your knees side to side, just to help bring movement back into the hips. If you are not in butterfly pose, you can just bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug, before allowing yourself to roll over to your favorite side and coming into that comfortable fetal position. Giving yourself the opportunity to reset for the rest of your day. And as you take this final moment in stillness, take your time to set an intention, reminding yourself that you're stronger than you believe yourselves to be, and that you already did the work by showing up. And take your time to slowly press yourself back up to your comfortable seat. Please take your time. But once you arrive, taking one hand to heart, one hand to belly, finding gratitude for our bodies, this practice in this space that allows us to move together. Thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to guide yours today, from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you feel a little bit stronger and not discouraged from this practice. Know that you can keep coming back to it as many times as you need. And I hope to see you at the next one.